Welcome to tonight's men's mashup. What we're going to do, we're going to have this in a TED Talks style. So all of our speakers get 20 minutes. 20 minutes, Jim Bob Hagerton. Just saying, 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Just saying. And then what's that? Introductions, 20 minutes, yes. So as much as I would like to introduce all these men, I'm going to say their lovely names. So all of these gentlemen serve as Young Living Diamonds, Crown Diamonds, and Royal Crown Diamonds. And we have Jim Bob Hagerton, and then we will have Dustin Bookout, Scott Gilchrist, Bear Tallow, Jay Pointer, Jason Jacobs, Danny Hill, and Jake Dempsey. So let's get started. Thank you guys for being here.
So for y'all of those that do not know me, I am Danny Hill, and I'm married to the one and only Echo Summerhill. Yes, there you go. So, sounds like we got a little bit of our tribe in here tonight. Real quick, if you're in our tribe or you were at the Rhino Rally last weekend, raise your hand real quick so I can see. Okay, awesome. So if y'all don't know us, for y'all, we run Motivation Tribe within Young Living, but we also created our own lifestyle brand called the Rhinolution. We're very, very big on being a rhino, charging ahead in life, no excuses. And as a reminder, I have it tattooed on my arm. I have a full rhino sleeve. Our son is a rhino in the making right now. If you've seen his YouTube videos, he would tell you how to charge up and rhino up. No excuses. He'll even do the little sign language for rhino up. It's pretty cool. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my past. There's a couple guys in here that have heard the story. I think Jim Bob's the only one that's heard the nitty-gritty of it. But I want you to know, first and foremost, you're not alone. Absolutely not alone. And while I tell my story, I want you to imagine you're me. I want you to imagine, who has kids in the room? Dang, that's bright. Okay, I want you to imagine that your kids are me. And they're walking through what I'm about to tell you. And I'll get to why in a little bit. So growing up, my mother was addicted to methamphetamines and alcohol. At 9 years old, I was putting a needle in her arm because I thought it was her medicine. My brother was one of the biggest drug dealers in Fort Worth at the time. I was the kid that ran out to the car to make the transfer to do the buy. I was the kid that would hide in the bushes with a pistol when we were low on supplies and we wanted to set up a lick to rob someone to make more money. I was that kid that would go and rob them. And I say that with a clear conscience. Why? Because God has forgiven me. Absolutely, God has forgiven me. I have taken what I have went through in life and I've spun it into a positive. I have a million reasons right now why I should either be dead or in jail. Last week I got a phone call, a really good friend I grew up with, Don Spencer. He passed away. He was found in a field, overdosed on heroin, left behind 12-year-old beautiful daughter and a wife. So growing up, like I mentioned, my mother was addicted to that. She loved me as a mother, but she was never a mother. Not because she didn't want to be, because she was sick. She had an addiction. So as I'm going through life and I'm seeing the things that I shouldn't be seeing, her friend comes over, named Cheyenne. She comes over and they just got done cooking a fresh batch of methamphetamines in the bathtub. Cheyenne goes to transport it, and she has her 6-month-old kid at the house with us. Well, she leaves them here. She leaves them at the house with us, and when she leaves, she gets pulled over. Well, when she gets pulled over, she has almost a pound of methamphetamines. And PD, you know, and it's her third strike. So she calls my mother, who's high. Says, hey, third strike, I'm not coming back. Forrest is now yours. So me and Forrest became absolute best friends growing up. Let's fast forward from when he was 6 months old. Let's fast forward 7 years. I'm at the house with my Forrest and my older brother. My mom's there, and we're just all hanging out. And all of a sudden, we can't find my mom. Me and Forrest go outside, and we had a stock pond in our front yard, and we see my mom face down by the water with a needle hanging out of her arm, and she's overdosed. Immediately call the police, and they come and get her, and she's in ICU. So when that happens, and let me back up a little bit. My father, absolutely best friend. I love him. We're best friends till this day. He was kept out of my life. Let me say that again. He was kept out of my life due to my mother and the court system. At this time, when this happened, he came in and he loved Forrest just like it was his own. If you've ever met my dad, you know he has the absolute biggest heart in the world. So he takes Forrest, takes him with him, and now it's me and my brother, and we're sitting at the house, and we're still dealing drugs. We're still paying for the bills through selling drugs. We're still robbing people. We're still doing things that we should never be doing. And I tell you these stories not for sympathy, not for, to walk out with a bowed chest or anything like that. I tell you this because if I sit here and tell you that you are not alone in life and that you can get through absolutely anything and everything you put your mind through, if I've walked the perfect life and I've lived a cookie cutter home, mom and dad's always been married, silver spoon in my mouth, how can you really take me serious? How can you look at me and relate to me and say, oh, what does he know? He's never been anything. He hasn't walked in my shoes. He don't know what it's like to be homeless. I do. I've lived in my truck for 6 months. I remember as a kid, I would sit in the truck with my mother while she went into CC's Pizza while we all sat in the back of the car. And she'd walk in with a purse outlined with a garbage bag. And she'd go and get enough food for us and then come back out, and that's how she would feed us. There were days and nights we would go without eating. So when my dad came and got Forrest and took him in, me and my brother are still at the house doing this. I'm over at my best friend Brian Tedford's house and get a phone call and say, hey, your brother just got shot. You need to get to the hospital now. He's probably not going to make it. He was care flighted to Harris downtown Fort Worth. Died 3 times on the way. My mother found this out immediately, got out of the hospital, out of ICU, walked out, IVs in her arm, went to Harris, collapsed on the floor. Now she's in ICU with my brother in ICU. So when the police came, till this day, we've never gotten the true story of what happened. All we know is he was up in the room with other people, a deal went bad, and something happened. We don't know the true story. Whether he was cleaning his gun, his accidental discharge, we don't know. He don't recall. So when this happened, I'm at a point in my life where I'm reevaluating. I'm not a victim of my circumstances. I will never let my circumstances, what I went through from day one, determine who I am going to be. The man I am going to be, the husband I am going to be, the father I am going to be. Okay, so when all that happened, as soon as my brother got out of the hospital, he had to go to the penitentiary because when they came in, they found all that, of course. He's in jail. So now I became the sole provider of the home. I became the sole provider of how I'm going to put food on the table, how I'm going to pay the bills, what I do. I went back to what I knew best. Now imagine your kids having to go through this, or someone that you love have to go through this. Selling drugs, robbing people, hurting people for money. And that was the lifestyle I lived. When I was 17 years old, a girl I was dating at the time, long story short, cheated on me with a guy. And the mentality I have, I looked him in his eyes, I told him, I'm going to kill you. He didn't believe me. Absolutely did not believe me. I said, okay. I drove by his house every single week. Finally, caught him outside one time. I turned that car around when I saw him, stopped in his driveway, walked up to him, didn't say one word, and he's sitting with 2 friends. I hit him absolutely as hard as I could. He went down, snoring respirations just started leaking. I said, okay. I looked at his friends, y'all want anything? They said, nope. Wow. So I leave. Next day, North Richland Hills Police, and it may have been you, I don't know, Popo. They kick in the front door, and they have a felony arrest warrant for me. 2nd-degree felony, aggravated assault with severe bodily injury with a lethal weapon. Their first question is, at 17 years old, what did you hit him with to cause that much damage? I said, I was angry. That was it. So I was looking at 5 years in jail. Thankfully, I had a good lawyer who dropped it to a Class A misdemeanor. I was 2 years probation, now it's off my record. But if that situation would have never happened, I wouldn't have got taken out of the environment I was in. At that point, my dad really knew something was going on. He took me out of that environment and made me move in with him out in Springtown. And when I went out to Springtown, the people that I surrounded myself out there were completely different than who I was hanging out with, the guys I was running around with. They took me in, they cared for me, they loved me, they accepted me as who I was. I was a junior in high school. I would repo cars at night, go to school during the day. Did that my junior year. Senior year, same deal. When I was graduating high school, I had absolutely no idea what I was going to do with my life. Absolutely no idea. So I heard about the fire department. Said, hey, I'm going to give this a shot. Went into the fire department, and I said, hey, this is me. I need help. I want to ride out. I want to see what this is about. I know somewhere I have a servant's heart. Even though I was doing all those bad things, I always felt there was more of a calling in my life. Even though the people I was surrounded by, those were just facades and images of people that, they didn't belong in my life. I was so much better at that, and I knew that, but I just had to have the deeper influence. So I did a ride out with the fire department, and our very first call I ever went on, I'll never forget it, 12 years ago, it was a lift assist. And I've been a fireman for 12 years now. I hate those calls sometimes, but 2 in the morning, it's a lift assist. But I remember getting to this elderly lady's home, and when I got there, it was just simple. Oh, hey guys, I just need help back into my bed. And then I was blown away. I knew right then, this is what I'm going to do the rest of my life. Regardless, this is what I'm going to do the rest of my life. And people are like, wow, just because some old lady wanted you to help up in the bed? But what y'all don't understand is countless nights I remember picking my mother up off the floor. She was overdosed, drunk, or too high to get in the bed. So I instantly made that connection. I said, this is what I want to do. Because of what if it was someone else's mother? So you have to put yourself in that position. So immediately I rolled in the fire academy. Slept in my truck for 6 months because I couldn't afford the gas from home back to the fire academy. So Monday through Thursday, I would go to the academy 7 to 5, and then I'd go over to the Quick Trip, get donuts or whatever for dinner, and then go back, park behind the academy, and I'd sleep in my truck. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights, I was a bouncer at PRs. At 18 years old, I was a bouncer. And that would give me the money for the fuel and the food during the week. I immediately got out, and I got hired on at Park County ESD1. I've been a fireman out there for 12 years. There was a point in time where 7 years into it, I got hired on at Fort Worth Fire Department. Even though I've been a fireman 7 years previous to that, you still have to go through Fort Worth's little academy that they have. It's a 35-week academy. On 34 week and day 6, I was terminated because I'd broken both of my legs. I wasn't truck ready on the time of graduation. So at this time, I'm the only income of the house. My son Harrison was just born, 6 months old, and Echo was a stay-at-home mother. We're 2 months behind on our house payment, 2 months behind, I'm doing 4 or 5, 2 months behind on her car payment, and now I have 2 legs I can't walk on, and I am sitting there watching my wife in tears crying, begging me not to make her put our 6-month-old son in daycare. So what do you do at that point? We've all been at the low. People say when you reach rock bottom, that's it. But it was that point in my life where I looked at my 6-month-old son. I said, this rock bottom will be the solid foundation that I build our future on. I will not let y'all go a day without. With 2 broken legs, I enrolled and went to the oil field. And during this whole time, I'm not going to speak about oils because I'm going to be as compliant as possible. But with my childhood, and then 7 years at the time with the fire department, can you imagine how much PTSD I had built up? Before Echo, I was to the point where I would go to bed so drunk on whiskey with gunpowder taste in my mouth because I would sit there with a pistol in my mouth, not knowing if it was worth waking up, having to go back to work, where I'm seeing mangled babies and just children that shouldn't be like that, or car wrecks with people that shouldn't be hurt like that. There's still a 13-year-old girl named Ashley I'll never get out of my head. So think about this. And for the guys that are here, it's so awesome seeing y'all here. Y'all are the man of the house. Your wife has chose to do this better, to do this business, to better your life and the opportunity not only for you but your children. When y'all are gone, JP talked about legacy. Where's this business going? It's going to your kids. I would hope that everybody in here that has kids would raise their hand and say, yes, when I leave this earth, I want my kids to be taken care of. So what do you do? So now that y'all know just a tad bit of my story, just a little bit, what is your why? Who knows their why? If you have a why, when you think about it, do you get emotional? And if you don't get emotional when you think about your why, it's not big enough. If you have distractions distracting you from your why, from your attractions, then your attractions and your goals and your whys are not big enough. If you still have things that distract you in life and that are big enough to take you away from it, then you need to reevaluate your why in life. Because I can tell you right now, my why, Harrison will never sell dope. Harrison will never have to worry about where his next meal is going to come from. I'm going to be the man I want to be, the leader I want to be, the father, the husband I want to be, so I can live a long, happy, healthy life with Echo. I want Echo to walk into a room with me on her side and be proud of the man she married. Now, each and every one of us have a choice every single day that we get up. We honestly do. And we have opportunities that are given through us each and every day. Do not miss out on the opportunity of a lifetime during the lifetime of the opportunity. Opportunities will come and go, but you have to take the action to take them. Think about that. How many opportunities have you passed up because you just didn't feel like putting in the effort? Who wants to be successful? Who wants to be RCD? That'd be a long line if you all lined up, right? How long is the line of people willing to put in the work each and every day to make that happen? It's a lot shorter. Because it's easy to sit here and say I want to do it because you're all comfortable right now. It's a fact. The way I talk about it, it's easy to beat a rhino around a bunch of cows. And if you know what I'm talking about, we compare cows and rhinos. Why? Because cows are so content on sitting in the field, grazing each and every day, doing the same thing, waiting to be led to a slaughterhouse to be slaughtered. Think about it. Cattle guards here in Texas. What's the width between the cattle guards? It's like 3 inches. And they are scared to take the opportunity just to walk on the other side just to see what's waiting for them. Rhinos have 2-inch thick skin. They are monsters. They will charge ahead. Once they have their sights set on something, they will not stop charging until they have accomplished their goals. Things will hit them. Things will pop up. That is life. Things are going to get in your way. But you have to have that mindset of regardless of what comes in front of you, you are going to continue to charge ahead in life. And you have to have that mindset. Well, how do I, it's real cool when you sit here and talk about it, but how do you stay motivated? Well, do you have a wife? Do you have a kids? What is your why? And if your why is not big enough to motivate you, reevaluate it. 2 minutes. So real quick, something that really, really helps me. There's 4 core things I work on each and every day. The first one, real quick, is your mind. You have to be right in between your ears before you can help anybody else. If you're reading the motivational books and you're listening to the cool videos and all, that's perfect. But they're not going to do crap for you unless you put action to it. Second, your body. If you are not in shape, I'm not talking fitness where you're running 1,000,000 miles or lift heavy weights or anything like that. Some type of fitness to make you feel confident, where you walk boldly. Where when you walk into a room, people know you are in that room and you are here to make a difference. Your third is your relationships. What is your relationships like right now in your life? And this is the one you have to look in the mirror and be honest with yourself. Don't beat around the bush on this one, because if you do on this one, you're only going to hurt yourself in the long run. What is your marriage like? What is your relationship like with your kids? Are you waking up and truly giving 120% each and every day? And if you're not, you need to reevaluate your why. And the last one's your business. How's your business doing? Is it growing? Or is it steady? Who ranked up last month? Last month was a pretty good month. Anybody rank up? Awesome. So you're doing something good. If you have been stagnant for a few months, reevaluate it. Go back to the drawing board. You are going to win in life and you are going to lose. Now take that away. Take that loss away. You are going to win and now you are going to learn. The only time you will ever lose in life is when you do not learn from your mistake you just made. So you have your mind, your body, your relationship, and your business. Name one thing that you do throughout the day that doesn't relate to one of those 4 categories. Every single thing you do relates to one of those 4 categories. So if you consciously wake up every single morning and say, I'm going to take one small step towards a huge goal each and every day, by the time you wake up 1 month from now, you're going to be at that huge goal. So remember that you have a choice each and every day to be a better person, a better leader, husband, father, wife, mother. It is up to you. No one else controls your destiny. You control that. Stop making excuses. Look in the mirror and own up to it. If you can look in the mirror and say, it's my fault I didn't hit that rank. It's my fault I'm not happy right now. Start taking responsibility. And when you do that, you will see your life will change dramatically. Be around now. I appreciate it. Thank y'all.